Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL Pro League here for the first week of Season 6. My name's Dalsey, and joined with me is Flakes for tonight. Not the usual faces, I think, of this secondary stream, but a beautiful one nonetheless in Flakes, maybe not so much myself.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the evening. I'm really pumped to be here. I think we got a lot of really sick matches tonight. I was quite surprised to see some of the games we actually got laid out in front of us. So take it away, reveal the secrets.
Oh, well, before we do that, we've got some excellent matches, like you say, but what we need to know is who people's favorite players are.
That's valid.
Because, you know, we've got some excellent matches coming up. You know, we've got people like Guardian and Olaf. Maybe those are your favorite players. Head over to PaySafe to vote. That's
pick the easy ones.
Who's your favorite player? Go on.
Go with Nico, man. Come on.
Nico? That's good. We're going to see Nico later on. We get to see how he goes up against the CIS giant that is Na'Vi. Let's have a look at the standings for this week. Let's see what's happened so far in the Pro League. Some interesting results, perhaps. Up there at the top is FaZe Clan. The hype is real behind the European Dream Team Experiment, currently sitting 4-2 as far as that. And ahead of the pack, Na'Vi have not played yet, which is exciting to see because today is going to be Zeus back in the roster for the first time, leading the ship, hopefully towards a victory, I think, for Na'Vi.
Hey, I believe. I think, biggest thing is to talk about is FaZe, as you said. The newly anointed world super team, I think, is the fairest way to describe them. So hoping we get to see some pretty sick stuff there. Yeah,
well, let's have a look at the schedule then and see what maps and matches we're going to be seeing today. It is EnVy versus FaZe for our first series of today. Going to be very exciting to see if the FaZe hype train continues deploying out of the station. Is train up first, so puns on point. And then Na'Vi versus Heroic straight on afterwards. It's the first Na'Vi game we're seeing with Zeus back on the roster. So super exciting to see how that comes about for them, I think.
For sure, I think biggest thing to go into straight away is EnVy. They've had a pretty good few weeks. ESL New York for a start. That kind of screams out at you, right? So if they can keep this consistency, keep this win streak, 12 maps in a row, I mean, come on, got to start cheering for them. If they can get it up against FaZe now, that sets a precedent.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out later on for sure. Of course, Fnatic versus LDLC and North versus EnVy on the mainstream. But I think the party's here on number 2, especially with the likes of EnVy. It's such a consistent team up against FaZe, who I think is kind of perhaps an unknown factor. How can Karrigan control Guardian? How can he control Olaf to kind of turn this team into a super team that I think in all rights it can be?
The thing is, it's not about turning them into a super team. You look at the names down the list, you look at that roster, tell me that's not a roster of players that everybody's been screaming about. I mean, for the get-go, you look at FaZe a while ago, everyone was like, Nico, come on, you got to get Nico. This guy is insane. The work he's doing with the Deagle, the work he's doing just in rounds in general, guy's tearing up in pretty much every single game, whether it's official, whether it's FBL. He's there and he's doing magic. Then they step up with this as well. I mean, you've taken all of these legends of these games, all these players that are known for popping off in huge ways, you throw them in one team, so it is a super team. There's no if-buts around it. It's whether they can perform up to the par that is expected of them, and whether they can become the team that can compete with the Brazilians. I mean, we've seen Astralis kind of double within that, but they haven't really been able to consistently outcome them.
Look at this. The odds are just so heavily in FaZe's corner right now, 1.5 to 2.4. And I think, whilst you look at those odds and you scream FaZe, let's talk about EnVy. They are consistent. Yeah. Recently have had some fantastic results. They, in the derby match, took down G2 for the qualifier for ESL New York, and then took down previous major winners Gambit. Perhaps,
Slightly wounded Gambit, but...
Slightly wounded. People can obviously interpret those results how they may please, but it's still consistency at its finest. And not only that, it's kind of sticking it to G2, who kind of came into the scene and said, you know what, we're going to be the French super team. And EnVy are kind of questioning that statement.
Yeah, they're playing with a lot to prove ultimately, right? They're really trying to step up. And of course, the biggest thing going into this game for them is, hey, right, we can beat all of these various different teams. We can qualify for events. But what about dethroning a team that have yet to even reach the walkway?
Right.
If they can get to them before FaZe can even start to reach up for SK, well, they can start to try and pick off Astralis. That's a huge statement.
I think that's important to talk about because you think about FaZe with the addition of Karrigan, and they're a team that kind of was always struggling to make this European experiment work, and then Karrigan was the glue they needed to, and they made it work. They started hitting top 4 performances. They took home a title, but it just hasn't been enough, has it?
Well, then the major happened. They went 0-3.
That's it.
I mean, that was the real sour point, unfortunately. They had their ups and downs. They had their really amazing moments, but they couldn't quite get it long enough stint together to really be worth, talking kind of top 2 material, starting again to go back to that SK Astralis type train. So for FaZe, Now it's about finding something that actually cements them as that team.
And that cement, hopefully for them, is going to be Guardian, who's replaced Alu. Alu, such a fabulous AWPer in his own right. Certainly a star can be that, but I think no one would question that Guardian could outperform him, given, you know, the right day and circumstance. And then Olaf, he has been the face of Fnatic for how long? 3 years. It's
started
incredible.
Out in LGB and built one hell of a, I don't want to use the phrase brand, but as a history, as a legacy, he's literally come up from his Swedish roots, dominated left, right, and center. I mean, there's so much to say.
You don't need to be a CSGO fan to kind of put Olaf's face on Fnatic. So, you know, tuning in to see him wearing a FaZe jersey is just a whole new world of wonders. And you know, replacing Kiyoshima, this guy has had stellar performances. He's certainly stepped up for FaZe when necessary. But I think it's no doubt in saying that Olaf is the star power that FaZe really wants. Right now, we've got this team of just stars. Rain, it has just been an absolute powerhouse for FaZe so fast.
Never forget.
I'm hoping to see them. We've got a Train coming up, our first map, which is going to be very interesting. EnVy love Train. They have been performing hella good on Train in their last, you know, 3 months of games so far. You know, something like a 70% win rate, and a lot of those are actually on LAN as well. And then you flip it over to Mirage, which is going to be our second map. They are just not performing on Mirage whatsoever. So, you know, I think this is actually really important for FaZe. They're a team that needs to become perhaps one of the best teams on a certain map. You know, maybe Train's that map, maybe Mirage that's map.
I feel like with FaZe, it's all about them finding their identity right now. I mean, we could look at the past, we could dig through all the stats, all the kind of the history within the team and the individual players. But as a team right now, as a brand new Five, they are trying to kind of find a feat, see how they want to play. Karrigan is going to be testing a few new different things. I mean, Guardian is a name you talked about in terms of his performance. No one knows if he's going to be able to step up to those previous levels because, well, he's had a few rough performances already. He's been slowly but surely eking his way in, but then there's also been times where he's looked a bit of a lost lamb. He doesn't know whether he's looking left, right, and center because the synergy between him and his teammates might not be there.
That's something that we've definitely seen during this week is, you know, perhaps just angles that should have been watched by Guardian because they've already been covered by Rain. He hasn't found his place as far as dynamics are concerned. So we may even see it, and if we see it, we'll try and just point that out because it's important for a team that's trying to find its place right now to kind of see where they're not, because they're going to, you'd think, with Karrigan, who's just kind of performed and consistently shown that he can take these teams of stragglers, perhaps misfits, you know, always the best, but maybe not fitting into their own scene, their own domestic scene, and he's been able to turn them around. Now he has to deal with people like Guardian, Olaf, and Olaf, on Fnatic, he's always been this kind of free spirit. Hasn't really enjoyed the super systematic approach of an IGL. So this is also something that I'm also excited to see is how does Olaf and Karrigan interact as a duoship?
I feel like with Karrigan, he just kind of wants to see how Olaf is going to play. He wants to see if Olaf is going to stick with that. Or he wants to see maybe he just let Olaf keep doing his thing. Maybe Olaf is going to be the kind of way for them to find themselves a bit of a pickaxe into each round. If they can use him to find a pick, he can then use that to leapfrog into rounds. I mean, there's so many different ways you could run at this.
Well, I think it's time to just get into this and jump straight on to Train for our first matchup of tonight. FaZe versus EnVy, and it is going to be EnVy on that T side as well to kick things off.
This is going to be one hell of a game. FaZe already going for just 4 sets of Kevlar, a kit on towards Karrigan, bog standard CT side stuff. You've got Nico, aggression straight off the bat though. That's one way to send a message. Found nothing with it, but Guardian, the man to look towards over on towards EnVy, as his pistol is going to be out. He's going to be going for a few taps. He finds it. There's one going for a second, but straight on the trade EnVy will be as they make it 1-for-1. Nico overextends RPK with the trade. Get a little heated.
That's a lot of info given over to FaZe instantly, with Guardian spotting out 3 down there by EnVy, but look at what EnVy are doing. They're rotating men straight over towards the B site, and they're going to try and pull FaZe right around the map. Looks like FaZe are reacting though. They've got 2 men set up currently on the B site, and it does look like Rain is going to make his way over to Z Connector as well, so they could be ready for this onslaught, this entry of EnVy. They've even got smoke set up. This could be a bloodbath. RPK looks for the pick, doesn't quite find it. That's the flashbang, but it's not going to do much. Olaf currently sitting on the site, spotted out. Can he get the shot? He can! That's a double! And that should just shut down the attack right there where it stands. Happy trying to finish it, but he cannot. Olaf with a huge 3K to shut that round down.
The tunnel vision going in on towards that Karrigan kill means that finally when those players coming out from ramp check off Olaf, he's there just basically going, you know what, I'm going to just tap away with my USP. I'm going to knock you down before you even get going. FaZe, a pistol win. EnVy Time to see if you're going to invest. Of course you are. Pistols, Deagles, Tech-9s. Scream, what do you get to show for yourself? He's been a monster with that Tech-9 in the past.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is perhaps a chance for EnVy, a very unlikely chance, especially considering CT dominance here on Train. You know, FaZe lost out very recently to Big just yesterday on Train, 16-10. So, you know, this is a map that I think FaZe will certainly want to be testing their spirits on and trying to find their identity, with Guardian especially. Look at them just take them out. 1, 2, 3. Very simple stuff with the FaMaS. You expect him to do that every day of the week, and now XMS left with just his Deagle. Will finish the job onto Nico, maybe find Guardian as well, very low. But those two frags, whilst flashy, perhaps not really going to be enough to win a round.
Yeah, try to find himself a way back in, coming up against the FaZe clan cleanup crew. As they stand with just 3 more foes in front of him, searching for a pick towards Bomb Train, but he knows the problems are all around him at this point. He is effectively surrounded. Whether he knows someone's EnVy or not defeats the point. Everywhere he has to check, everywhere he has to look, and Rain has his number, takes him with the UMP. Money to be made. FaZe 2-0. EnVy, they are going to be basically sitting back now. They're going to be thinking about those future rounds, thinking about that first buy. This round for them is talking points more than anything else.
Yeah, trying to work out exactly how they're going to execute the next round, what angles they're going to test. Because FaZe have kind of had a fairly clean affair, and if they're able to have another one in this round and keep the majority of their members alive, that AWP will be coming out very swiftly for Guardian, and something that has just so powerful on Train, especially when you've got Nico in your roster as well, who can really fill that secondary role of an AWPer. Train, double AWP, setups. FaZe, in theory, should be a team that really rivals on this map. Just have to see if FaZe will be able to find their identity right now, as EnVy currently on the slow pace towards this B site. Nico going to be holding this angle with his FaMaS, spots them out, trying to find the heads. He will find one, but XMS is able to trade.
EnVy just a bit of a ticking time bomb, ready to explode on towards this B site. They charge on forwards, but the SMGs are all there to play. 1, 2, all the kills roll on through. The M4 A4s doing work. 2 kills for them individually, coming up trumps as well. FaZe clan 3-0. Eco washed away. EnVy, here's that first buy though. The AK is already entering the fold. What more is going to be done? Are they going to go for that AWP-6? They're thinking about it. Very much going to be on his mind, but no, they offer 5 AKs. It's
going to be up against the double AWP setup that Nico and Guardian can so rightly bring. This is a tasty round. EnVy with the AKs, a bit of utility as well. Not as much as perhaps they would have wanted. It's not quite that full buy that teams really value on Train, but it is a buy they can work with. It really just depends on the opening frags. EnVy have such a blunt statistic. If they find that first frag, then they're so likely to win the round. So heavily likely. Up there in the 75% roughly. So they're really needing to find those opening frags, and when you peak for it and an RPK goes straight down to 23%, that could just be that mental game that works against you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a swift trade of blows. That's all it really comes down to. RPK 23, Nico on 6 HP. It's a win-win for both sides. They're not really going to be complaining about it at the moment. They're going to be focusing on still trying to find themselves that entry point on that T side. Searching towards EnVy. Guardian putting them under a lot of pressure. That's a problem now. 8 HP on him. Getting a little bit more cautious as both those AWPs excruciatingly low. Scream, ready to charge on through. EnVy, they have all the pace. But are they going to know Rain's position? The flash comes out. Rain is ready, finds one. Scream, instantaneous headshot though to take him down with a trade. Carrigan looking for one more. Olofmeister burning them out of the map. As then he finds a second.
Guardian just spots out Happy, and Nico will be able to trade the info. That's an easy round for FaZe. Things just didn't go right. The execute from EnVy wasn't quite there. That pop flash down Ivy was unaffected as far as Rain was concerned. He could stare directly at the enemies, and they were not expecting to be sprayed down so instantaneously. 4-0 now, and it is going to be Team EnVy once more, considering their options here. Deagle Train rushing out. But really, once more, it's just an info gathering round.
I'm not sure what's the more important scoreline, 4-0 or 7-0, because both FaZe and Olofmeister are just having a great start to this. Olof's been able to find so many crucial picks that a lot of those kills aren't completely meaningless. They actually hold a lot of value, both looking at the pistol and both looking at that previous round. In this one, Guardian playing nice and slow, content with the Ivy angle, just going to be holding it tightly to the very end, basically saying, EnVy, you want to peek me? Sure, come at me. I'm ready, my scope's there. I should be able to find this frag. Better yet, I'll throw a nade right at your feet.
Almost caught out in timing, but he's going to be able to take down Scream there, and now XMS is considering, does he go for the shoulder peek? Misses the shot, but Rain pops out. That's some nice synergy that we're starting to see develop between Rain and Guardian this week. really starting to become best of pals, and that's something that's really important, I think, for FaZe, is how does Rain play off Guardian? How does he kind of have his back and support him in those moments?
They're crucial at the end of the day. Those two are going to be a duo quite a lot now in the future, so if they can really just nail down on that chemistry, then there's so many things that they could excel at. I mean, just as simple such as, I'm going to throw a flash at you. I'm going to be here for you. You can set up this play now for yourself. Just know that I'm right behind you to deal with any shortcomings, any issues.
It's going to be this 6th round now. EnVy really desperately looking for a point on the board. Scream's going to rush straight into the B side, but he's getting sprayed down by Rain. Does take a bit of damage here, but he's managed to push up, and he's found Olaf traveling up the ladder, but Nico with a save. And now it is going to be that man disadvantage for EnVy. Olaf up in heaven. Guardian going to start whistling away, but they knew exactly where Olaf was due to the information. So one back on the board. It is an even game. XMS up close. This is falling apart. It's all on Guardian now. He's got 2 already. He's going to have to find 2 more if he wants to keep this round alive. Bomb being planted as we speak, and that's going to be another going his way. Guardian, he's turned this into a 1 versus 1, and XMS, he's blinded right now, cannot peek. It gives Guardian the chance to stretch his feet. Misses the no-scope, but he's still alive. He's going to look for the peek, but he can't quite find it. XMS able to hold that together for EnVy.
Such a good round played out by XMS towards the end of that. I mean, Guardian did create himself 2 opportunities, 2 respective shots. The flashes were actually really well put together, but unfortunately, logic did not prevail. EnVy, this is your way in. You've got 1, now you're looking for 2. I don't have to state the obvious, but if they get reset here, they will not be sitting pretty at all.
No, it's devastating for EnVy if they can't find a round in the row. FaZe, they have so much economy built up because of the 5 points that they were able to get consecutively. Means that they've got this buffer that they can work with for the next couple, but EnVy has no such luxuries. And it's going to be a swift change of plans as they're now poking around the B site.
They're seeing what they can find, basically testing FaZe for any more aggression as well. Bear in mind, for EnVy, they're going to be thinking to themselves, right, do we need to be sitting back? Do we need to be defaulting quite a lot? Can we just go for this execute-based play? It's all about them getting ideas from FaZe, because FaZe, you can't just go and research them.
Not at all. 1-4, it's going to be Nico now making it a 2-3 as far as the setup is concerned, but Sixter going to find Nico. Carrigan on the bomb train. He's going to find 2 straight off the bat. Drops the bomb as well. That slows EnVy down royally. Looking for XMS, but XMS able to spray and pray with a dream. Sixter not quite the same luck, and XMS going to be shut down as well. Carrigan just able to do so much work there.
Fulfilling his job as the player on the backer side, basically steps into the role of the anchor for just a short moment and basically pins down the site. Gets 2 kills. Even when he gets traded out, that's a 2-for-1. Happy days. Guardian then kind of steps on him with the AWP, gets another kill. It sets up the round perfectly for FaZe, 6-1. EnVy will now have no economy. This was that dire situation I was referring to in the previous round right at the start. It gets worse and worse from here on out.
It's not an easy task to come back into this for EnVy, and whilst they've been a team of consistency here, Flake, so far in their recent performances, it just feels like when FaZe are high, they are just soaring, and it's so hard to stop it. Currently, the team with the highest round difference, which just shows that, you know, when they are winning games, they're doing so by a margin.
For now, though, digging into the present, yet again, it is going to be XMS and Scream actually going for the run boost over just to avoid Guardian and his AWP, trying to move up closer, see if they can take the battle to a palm length. So he is going to be just peeking around, waiting to see if they are going to show any face at all, just a little bit of skin. Those pistols eventually going to be tested. The Eagles, they're pretty crafty, you can take a hit or 2. But at that sort of fight, I mean, I would put Guardian here as the winner. Smoke goes in as well, that buys them a little bit more time for the boost. Again, though, that smoke not really going to be doing Scream any favors at all, just a little too close to really be able to play around the tip of that.
Guardian not going to be able to find a cheeky shot. Scream did pop his head back down from that boost. The rotates are starting to come around for EnVy as Sixter peeks into the A site. Guardian will spot him jumping back over. There's just a dance on the train here. 30 seconds left. EnVy need to decide where they're going to go, though. Time is ticking, and it does look like they are setting up to rush towards this A site.
All it is just rotational play at this point from FaZe. The minute the smoke comes in, Guardian adjusts his position to be able to bear down these trades now when they push on out. Hold on a second, scrap that. The Deagle is woken up to play, but no, the rifles now being the true weapons just the true firepower as Nico gonna knock them down with a double kill. And as simple as that, FaZe 7-1. EnVy, still with so little money to spare, they're gonna have to sit out just another round.
This is a disastrous half for EnVy. It's a half that, mentality-wise, I think you struggle to really hope for much. You know, yes, it's Train. Yes, CT dominance is so prevalent on Train. You don't need to be told that twice because it's just a fact that Train, if you get that lead on CT side, you're in for a good run for your half. And so for EnVyUs, they are looking forward to that half-time break where they do get to switch sides, but they still need to put points on the board here, FaZe. They can't be heading into the half with just one.
I've got to interject, because you're using the half-time pause almost as a point of them to reflect and think. They have pauses for that. If they want to break the game down and just take a moment to think and just digest what's going on, they have the ability to do that. Not to be condescending or come across in any sort of brass way, but you just have to look at it from an objective point of view. If you need to slow things down, it's on you, it's your choice. They're letting this become a runaway train for FaZe. At least they go 1-for-1 here, the Deagle doing work, but yet again, it is going to be Rain to just fill the shoes of Guardian, be there with the rifle. And that's all he's got to do, just stick on by and make life hard for EnVy. I mean, Happy, anything but at this point, still yet to find a single kill.
They need to get on that board. It is going to be Rain just holding Ivy here. The bomb's sitting there as well. It goes down, then Rain has a lot of control over the map all of a sudden, and oh, that's a double spray that you can't afford to lose. Scream able to trade it over just about, but it is all hopeless, as that is going to be Olaf finishing the job and recollecting the AWP to keep it in the economy. Now EnVyUs with money here. They have had time, I guess, as far as these pistol rounds are concerned. Almost you could consider them a pause, especially the way they've been playing them, letting the clock tick down so they can discuss. And it does save that pause in their inventory. But this is a full buy. Look at their economy afterwards. They have just about $700 left in the bank account after this. And that is not enough to really string together multiple buys.
Nico, look at what you're doing, you little monster.
Oh,
trying to be so feisty. He does miss the shot. The aggression comes in. RPK looking for the double. He finds it, takes the head off of Karrigan, opens up the B site, but they're not going to bite for it. They're not going to go charging forward. They'll be happy to throw one smoke. But EnVy, they're going to hold. Rain right on behind, about to find the trade. If he swings over, RPK get a peek on into him. There's one going for the second. Happy, aware of the situation, taking just a few steps around it, but doesn't find it. Rain, the instantaneous double return. Sure, it's a 2v3, but FaZe, this is their round to fight for. Guardian close on the site. That AWP is going to be a real menace for EnVy to tackle.
Wow, what is this round here? Looks like FaZe were just trying a little bit too much. Guardian sitting on that bomb train does get taken down. It's all on Rain to make the ace. And in the ESL Pro League, the aces certainly can happen. Online play, XMS up close. Are they going to be on other sides? No, he takes him down swiftly. Bomb planted as we speak. Rain rotating over to try and get a new angle. May get Sixter. He was not looking right. And it's just Scream left. Rain, one more, and he gets the ace for his team to keep them in this and make up for the mistakes. Taken down to 12. Doesn't buy it his way, but he is looking for the frag nonetheless. Scream comes through and shuts it down. There's a lot to talk about.
Scream, towards the end, was walking on thin ice. Shot after shot he was missing. Opportunity after opportunity. Down to the wire for EnVy, but if there's anything going for them, they have a round, right?
They certainly do. FaZe is a team that has been looking to innovate, looking to push their boundaries, and you can certainly see that with Nico. Can I push up like this? Can I be that aggressive? Nico's a player who can do it, but in this circumstance it didn't go well. But for Rain to instantly rectify and put a band-aid on that issue, it just shows the power that this team currently has. Yes, EnVyUs now a point on the board. Yes, round 11, they need to carry this forward. They cannot afford to lose it, because losing it is essentially saying no more points, EnVyUs, for this half. So EnVyUs, really, considering they went down to just one member against Rain in the former Scream, they really need to tighten up.
Yeah, I mean, it almost have to be a bit of a realist, right? Just because you've won a round doesn't mean you've won the battle. You may have just won one short piece of it, because at the end of the day, if they get wrecked out here, the economy game is basically all but whack for them. So let's see if they can give us anything at all, something exciting. Happy, the man who's struggling is the man on a pistol. Sixer does have that AWP, so we can see if he can use that as a way to carve his way into the round, but looking like that's not even going to be coming through just yet. Guardian going for the wallbang. Why not, mate? You hit those every day of the week, so just keep on banging them home. As Olaf ingrained in towards Pop Dog, RPK just pushing it around, ready to hit towards B. XMS finally the man to get going a little bit as he pushes through the smoke, but Nico, he's got that covered too. FaZe well held together, every angle held in check, the flashes not quite going to plan. But the boys waving the French flag. Problematic to say the least.
Yeah, no. I know these rounds going envious way due to things that FaZe have been allowing to, but never mind, I say too soon. Happy gets himself a point on the board and it's all been opened up like a can of sardines. Only Nico left alive in this 1 versus 3. Is going to find RPK, makes his way onto the site now, but look at Scream just lurking behind and there's no way in. Nico's meant to know that's there. Almost given a chance to make a highlight reel, but apparently Fraps wasn't recording. 3-8 does mean that Envious have done it. They bridged the gap, and we are going to see a pause come through as well. Tactical FaZe need to essentially work out what's gone wrong recently because, you know, round 11's loss for them, round 10's loss for them was purely just them stretching out, you know, trying to see how far they can push the boat, and, you know, maybe that was too far from Nico. That was just sloppy from FaZe, well, and they cannot afford to continue that.
The thing was, they were holding the angles on B.
Right.
They were in the right position.
Exactly.
Give or take a few different perspectives on it, but for the most part, they were in positions where they could definitely make it work, but the shots just didn't quite go where they were intending. I mean, just a simple fact of the matter is they didn't kill the player sprinting out towards heaven. You don't do that. You open him to be able to get an overview of the entire site, call on everything for his teammates that are coming in from lower, and it just makes it look a bit of a piece of cake. I
hope this is now the snowball effect for Happy, because I think it would be a sad story for him if he was to enter the halftime pause and his only point, his only kill on the board was a Glock kill onto a rifler.
It was a very crucial kill.
It was a crucial kill. I'm not trying to discount the kill because it won the round for Envious, really did open up that B site. But now he needs to find that motivation and I guess that effectiveness that I guess that one kill can sometimes bring you with your confidence. It
does go without saying in the day to kind of cut the topic right there, and then he needs to step up if his team want to perform. They're at 3, this is the start of their journey, but the journey doesn't have to end if they just keep on playing with heart and soul and a bit of tactical soundness.
Should be a round that Envious are able to take. Of course, the pistols for FaZe puts them in a dire situation, but Envious are not messing around. Slow onto the B site, XMS pushes up and is able to take down Carrigan with that CZ. Things going well for Envious, but Nico set up with the Deagle. Nice, and he will find that Scream pushing through the smoke. Going to enter Z connector, and that means they've passed each other, but Scream going to find the frag nonetheless. Should just be easy pickings. Olaf only 4 HP, and he will go down. And Envious have found the motivation. This train has not terminated. Now on the 13th round with money back in the bank for FaZe. This is a time for them to try and shut down perhaps this momentum.
Thing is, that last round was almost minuscule in nature in comparison to this one because the weaponry was on a complete kind of different end of the spectrums. You're looking at FaZe back with a double up setup, something they're being ever so persistent with on this CT side of train. They've got everything they need, all the tools there. Sure, the utility is a little bit wish-washy in comparison to what they have had in the past, but they have enough. The smokes, the flashes, it's all there. FaZe, you change anything different? I mean, I'm looking towards the map, we're still seeing the same sort of setup. I think arguably the only real big adjustment that meets the eye is the fact that less pressure onto EnVy itself and more floating just around those upper front trains, looking in towards their main, seeing if they can find anything in terms of those early aggressive picks, any AWPs peeking out from EnVy. But EnVy aren't giving them any of that respect, aren't giving them any of those engagements. Instead, they just sit back. They've got smokes in hand, they could walk out towards B. Sixer could look for this lower pick, but nothing will be found there. It's almost a bit of a stalemate depending on where you're looking on the map.
Carrigan has been shifting his position, kind of just being that anchor for B. Does have Nico to back him up this time, though, as Envious have been putting priority towards this B side, and it's not something that FaZe want to allow. Guardian has to hold this. It's going to be another running boost. Oop, can they get it? Cue the Benny Hill. There it is. Nice. And Guardian hasn't spotted it. Now 3 men in EnVy. Does have that kind of intuition, though, to fall back because it's a risky move for him to be that up close with so much firepower. Are they going to go for the double one? No.
What they do here is the CT site will throw the deep smoke. Rain will then kind of get smoked out for himself. He'll push on right through, get aggressive, finds one, goes spray down, but the second doesn't connect. It will be a quick trade, a return kill from Scream. Sixer ready to push out from A main. Olaf Meister will be there to try and deal with him, but his attention is going to be focused towards EnVy as well. He's got a real problem as RPK swings out nice and wide. They're on the site, the dynamic duo of Scream and RPK, opening up the round, a double and a single. Sixer looking to join the party as Karrigan is going to be in connector, ready to contest him.
That running boost has been so crucial to EnVy to get them past Guardian's gaze. Now Karrigan with a hard task with the rifle is able to spot out the feed of RPK. Makes this a little bit more even, if not so an advantage. But Sixter will shut down that rifle, and now it's just Nico searching for the members of EnVy. Does not have that bomb defusal kit, which means he is likely to fall back with AWP in hand and just save it into the next round. But EnVy have done it once more. They've held themselves together here. 5 now on the board makes this halftime score look a little bit more respectful for them on this train.
Foul towards the end means that it is just going to be a weapon loss for the EnVy camp. But at the end of the day, if you are EnVy, you do just have to bite your tongue right now. You do just have to keep taking it frag by frag, round by round, because this has been a real tough journey for them to get this far into it, but they are up to 5.
Yes. It's important, I think, for EnVy to have figured themselves out towards the end here. Looking at the economy, FaZe do not have a buy. They just have that single AWP, and it is going to be Nico holding on to it. Guardian doesn't have the monetary to get armor, so just keep that on Nico, and he does find a frag for himself. A second as well, Nico holding this a little bit together. Olaf does go down, Nico struggling, but he finds RPK 3! Can Nico single-handedly keep this round together? He gets spotted out? Yes, he does, and a quick flick from Sixer will put feet to body. Now in this 2 versus 1, he has to connect these shots at AWP against CZ, and Guardian now with the AWP. Well, that was easily taken care of, but here comes Karrigan from behind. They're going to meet each other very close. Karrigan looking for the head. It's a pistol, Joe! But a Joe, that Sixer wins and keeps the dream alive for EnVy.
I don't want to say it, but you really got to hit those. I mean, come on, that is a kill. That is a round.
That is me playing CSGO.
So much value. You need that round. You've already let them get to 6. You could be the team on 9 right now. That could be the difference between an 8-7 and a 9-6 half.
CSL Pro League. It is incredible stuff, this online play, and something that I think these teams will be considering as, on this last round, things are so important. EnVy could just be bringing this back to an 8-7. Who would have thought it? Such a dire first half of this. It is going to be Olaf finding that first frag for FaZe, something very important, as we've talked about. Now, EnVy pushing towards the B site. Nico going to be watching up, trying to spot out RPK as he peeks, but he misses the flick. That means that now it's Karrigan's job, but he fails it. B side is open for all rights, and the bomb is ready to be planted. FaZe are now having to scramble to find this defense.
It's all crumbling to pieces. FaZe trying to get themselves into positions, trying to deal with this jigsaw puzzle that EnVy have presented. The bomb is ticking on down. The smoke's playing such a problematic part, but with 2 kills, Rain, another claimed on towards Sixer. It all looks doable. We're happy. He's got a Molotov. Let I remind you, this man has done it before with the same strategy. Can he do it again? Peeks out, finds the first, deals with the diffuser, so damn close. Happy, come on! The pistol is enough as Nico does get the kill, but that may have bought him just enough time.
It is going to be just diffused. Happy almost finding it, but celebrations, I guess you could say, in there for FaZe Clan. They get that 9 point, they do take the half, and we will throw it to a short break, but when we return, it is going to be a hotly contested train. Welcome back to the ESL Pro League, and I think we have some things to talk about. It was such a clean opener from FaZe in the first half, really just sticking it to EnVy and showing that they had some sort of set plan for this map. And then things just went awry. The towers were knocked over. It's like a toddler just scrambling through, messing everything up.
It's so hard to know what went wrong. It's, you know, you can't argue there's too many cooks in the kitchen because Karrigan is the man calling the shots, but even he was struggling towards the end. 2 crucial rounds, 2 crucial picks that he missed. A second half that has to be so much better. FaZe on 9, EnVy on 6. Is going to be EnVy, of course, on that CT side. Kip, 4 pieces of Kevlar. FaZe opting for just 4 Kevlar standard utility play. They have got the molly on Karrigan. Let's see what he's going to do with it. Just
not a scoreline that you expect, I think. Coming into the second half, 6-9. Everything's wide open as far as EnVy's ability to come back. It was looking so dire at one point. But now, FaZe with a chance to at least put some points and separate the scoreline once more here. Get the ball rolling on their T side. All spread out. Nico finds the first frag though, down the ramp towards B. That does make things a little bit easier. Now it's going to be Sixter holding, will Olaf peek? He is making his way over. Sixter's pushing. This could be a very aggressive position that Olaf may have not expected. He has XMS for the trade, and he instantly finds the shot. There's going to be Karrigan hiding away though, so they don't quite know he's there, but now Scream is dealing with a flush of terrorists, and they're going to take him down. 4-2-3 now. The trades come through, and FaZe have won the A side. Only Happy left alive, and he has to defend against 3.
Happy's been a problematic player all first half. Can he step up now for a triple kill in the pistol? They're pushing out through. He gets himself 1, but a quick trade from Guardian slits his neck with just simple ease. The USP doing wonders. FaZe, a pistol win, making that just another for them to work with now. You can't complain.
And EnVy with that very proactive, aggressive push. Yes, it found an opening frag, but what's worth noting is they took 2 men to do that, and it just allowed FaZe to enter the A site instantaneously and overwhelm Sixer by himself there.
It was a good response by them taking aggression on that T side to move back in towards A main, though. That's something that has to be noted.
Yep.
Trading off Scream is exactly what they have to do in that scenario to even out the numbers and get them a bit of map control back. Problem is, then they just got overwhelmed on the site. They lost a lot of those site-based duels, and that basically just left Happy in that awkward situation. It was a bit of a runaway roller coaster that they have to work on in the future to try and just kind of not let slip through.
For sure. It is going to be FaZe pushing close. EnVy are holding close angles, but that UMP in Karrigan's hand easily going to just shred through the CTs here. Should be a formality, but Scream says otherwise. Does find 1 in return. And now it is just FaZe looking to plant the bomb. Happy and RPK. RPK finds 1, and Happy is behind everyone, but Guardian will be watching. And that is an easy enough round for FaZe to take. They've separated themselves from EnVy here. They've got money stacking up, that UMP getting that bonus, $1. And currently, EnVy will be really heavily valuing their first gun round of this half.
I think a point for me is I feel like the longer this game goes on for, it's going to be getting better for EnVy. Just judging by that first half, just judging by the way of EnVy have been playing recently, a lot of their recent games have been close battles. I mean, sure, you kind of do write off some of the games they played on the qualifier for ESL New York, but for the most part, you've been seeing like 16-13, 16-12s. And that's because they've been sometimes not been getting the best of starts, but they have been able to conclude with a win. So if time kind of tells a similar tale here, then we are looking at an EnVy side that will look to step up, which is why it's so important and apparent for FaZe that they need to break away, which is why the pistol for them is crucial.
Guardian just holding on to his pistol so that he can start working towards that AWP, but it is going to be FaZe taking numbers here and overwhelming the EnVy defense on A site. Rain just put himself in a perfect position to pick off the right amount of people. 3 so far, and the bomb's planted for that extra economy as well. Looks like the odds have swiftly changed. That was a very close count, 1.4 to 2.5, but currently EnVy have the odds stacked against them. I don't feel like those odds actually truly represent the closeness I think this game still potentially has. So really, this round will tell us whether or not EnVy are here to party.
Let's see what they can show for themselves right now. EnVy double up, set up the same play that FaZe brought to the table, basically saying, you know what you can do, I can do better. But can you? Time to prove it. Time to show us what you've got. Sixer staring down EnVy, looking for that early frag. Finds nothing. Olafmeister pushing out through the smoke. He got angry. He got riled up. They poked the beast. And he's going to be looking to do even more in the second half as well. Dives through the smoke, checks on towards site, deals with one, spins back around, Scream being left unchecked, gets himself a double, looks for a triple, but Karrigan, the UMP lurking in the shadows, steps out of place, takes down Scream, and that's a big return kill to find as it tips things over towards his FaZe's side, gives them a man advantage, gives them site control, and allows Nico to embed himself in towards EnVy to cause such a problem for Sixer, who's lurking in the back shadows with that AWP, trying to play peekaboo with his opposition. But can he even find a chance, knowing full well that Nico's there to lurk?
Yeah, that's exactly it. They were struggling to find the angle so they can get this bomb plant down, but now with RPK dead, Sixer finding the bomb, but Nico's behind. Nice little lurk, and that will put the points, maybe those odds, looking a little bit more favorable for FaZe, as EnVy losing that very crucial round. They're going to be back to the drawing board. 14-6 likely going to be the scoreline heading into the next round, Flakes. If EnVy can't pull a win there, then there is no win to be had.
Not to state the obvious, but FaZe, stay composed, stay focused, just keep on playing for that W. Don't let any stupid kills slip through. Don't let these deagles start tearing your head off. Like, I mean, we saw XMS get a double kill within previous rounds just by just trying to be there, be annoying. So, FaZe, just mop them up.
Ooh,
there's one already.
They've stacked. They found frags, but oh, never mind. It's a rain train, and he is going to spray his way to fame. Does get taken down by Scream, but Guardian is able to finish the job. It's only Happy left alive. Almost looked good for EnVy there. All stacked up, looking for the trades with the pistols. Guardian will finish it off. 14-6 now, heading into round 6 as well. EnVy, it's now or never for them. It is the pinnacle round, the ultimatum. The question of whether or not they can take it to FaZe.
Once again, it is going to be the double AWP setup, the defining piece of CT side train, it seems, today. The rest, of course, going to be opting for those rifles, the M4A1S on Scream and XMS, and RPK just the M4A4. Wolfmeister already going for that same aggression, looking down towards green train. Sixer could be a problem here purely because of the lack of smoke. There is no wall to block his line of sight away, so he'll actually be checking that angle, but his attention is somewhat multi-focused. He's got to be looking all over the place, so that's going to be just a tough one for him to handle. Karrigan already taking down XMS, bear in mind, looking good for FaZe.
Scream needs to find this frag onto Karrigan. Does look like he's going to look for Olaf, but will turn face and didn't spot each other. Scream does find the frag. Very important now as they've got the man advantage and they're going to find people just stacking up, ready to enter. Guardian has to regain the bomb. He does not. The bomb's still stuck out there, and EnVy now biting to try and get control over this carriageway. Scream pops his head up. Guardian not quite able to line the shot. Crosshair not there. Scream now going to just hold tight. 54 seconds here. FaZe in such an awkward scenario with Nico and Guardian to try and pull this together against 4. The Molotov to separate them from each other as well. How do they bury their way out of this? Oh, he misses the flick. They are going to push in, it looks, but Scream through the smoke takes down Guardian, and it's just Nico left. Has the bomb, but he is now pushed up against the wall, and it's Scream to finish the job. A little bit of an unorthodox round, I think, for EnVy, but a win that they so desperately needed.
I mean, the beauty towards the end of this Scream just almost plays the distraction. He's dancing in the shadows, he's spraying away with you with a rifle. Well, the real problem lurks up above. You look to the sky, you see Happy with an AWP. That was a pick for him, and a pick that puts EnVy a little bit further into this game, up to 7 now. Looking to keep themselves going, of course. We talked about longevity behind these French boys. If they can start working their way through, can start getting these rounds back to back, the odds of them winning become ever more apparent. Not because of the scoreline, but because they do get better. The longer the games seem to play out, they just get more composed. The calls seem to start to straighten up. Almost experience starts to really come into play.
All about being comfortable in your own skin, it seems, and that is kind of the story of EnVy. Really just like it.
They just seem to struggle to get going, is really what it boils down to. Not to beat around the bush. Meanwhile, talking about not beating about the bush, it is going to be RPK nearly caught off as he tries to play around those back stacks. Nico does commemorate the frag though with a quick return. Happy bearing down on his opposition with that AWP. Olafmeister trying to create a bit of a stir up on towards A. But Scream dealing with it with a nice and crafty smoke kill yet again. The criminal back into action. As XMS, perfect backstab. Guardian left with nothing worth fighting for, as his head is going to be swiftly lost. Sixer, just another Karrigan Trying to see if he can close this one out, but it surely should be a struggle. He's got to rush to deal with the defuse while being tacked on down from behind. That gives XMesh just enough time to sneak it in before then taking the fight for himself. One that he will wholeheartedly take home for his team.
Yeah, just all falling apart. Olaf caught in rotation on his flank and able to take down and via backstab. FaZe's defense was not there, not quite set up, and when Carrigan is in the position of having to make the clutch play for his team, that's when things could be considered alright for FaZe. 8-14 now, we've got a game on our hands, Flakes. EnVy are fighting for this W here, not ready to just give it up at a heartbeat. FaZe definitely looked a little bit disgruntled towards the end of the half. Once they started losing rounds, the momentum slipped out of their hands and they couldn't quite grip back. Have to see if they're able to regain their composure. Such a new roster, still Synergy just not quite finding its grip just yet. Something to consider that FaZe perhaps will struggle to regain control. Have to see if they're going to be able to do so here, as Scream has been the key player just holding tight. Nico though is going to look for him. Scream will be taken down this time. Perhaps that is enough for FaZe to open up the cracks.
Right. A quick kill for him as well, doubling down on the start that FaZe found in the round. Happy trying to be problematic with that AWP, but the scope just isn't working out for him. Misses the shot. Sixer buying time with one of his own, but Happy put under so much pressure on this site right now. The Molotov just burning on a way. RPK was aggressive, but RPK cannot do enough. Trying to hold them off. Carrigan playing around the back of Blue Train. Just take the fight here and there, but he's waiting for Nico. Nico on the lurk, trying to be the man to win it all.
Let's see what he can do here. Plenty of time to work with, 30 seconds. They have sent men back over towards the B site. EnVy, do they think this is going B? The bomb could still go there. Does look like FaZe is set up for this A site take. Sixer finds Nico on the lurk, and now the bomb is going to make its way up towards the A site now. Has to get it down, 16 seconds left, and the bomb will at least be planted. But EnVy now going to be in a position to try and retake this site here, rotating men over. Look at the positions of Rain and Carrigan. Currently holding very far back in this site. Rain has to really hold this one together. Able to find the opening frag, then chances certainly increase. There's going to be Sixer coming around the corner, his head taken off. Can RPK hold it? He can, and now Carrigan with an AWP from this back point. The smoke going to go down. It's not really a great weapon for finding people in the smoke, prodding through, and the defuse is coming through. Through the smoke he finds one, but now he has to find another. He stopped the defuse, but it's not going to be enough, I think, to win the round. RPK with that defuse kit has the 5 seconds and the defusal just in time, and that will be EnVy. Another point on the board.
A ballsy move from EnVy, considering their actual attempt at retaking that site was pretty poor. 1 by 1 is not the approach we were hoping to see, but they do remain fruitful at the end. They get that close-knit defuse, they get themselves just another, and they move on to 9. This is where another pause is called. This is where another breaker needs to be put in for FaZe. They are stuck on a hurdle that is 14. That's 2 rounds, just to be clear. They can't get over it. It's been 3 rounds back-to-back now that EnVy been able to claim. Money, something they've not been able to build up, which is a very pertinent point because it does highlight just how close those 3 rounds have been. FaZe have been bringing it down to these 1v1s, these 2v2s, a fair chunk. You see those last 2 rounds specifically, only 2 and 1 player each round surviving. The first, not so much, with 4 surviving, but that's why EnVy's economy has been so broken, those last 2 specifically.
FaZe have decided that they know exactly what they need to do here, Flakes, to, well, maybe not this round, but in the next, shut down this momentum that EnVy has been showing off here. It's almost a deja vu moment, I think, except far quicker and timely for EnVy to have found their stride here on Train. 9-14. Very soon it could be 14-14. It really just depends on how FaZe are able to change up. With Scream finding that first frag, it does make things a little bit difficult, but keep in mind it is just the pistols. This round for FaZe isn't really about taking a point home, but more just doing damage to EnVy.
I mean, do what you can. Try and take one of those AWPs. That's really the prime target right now. But I think overall for FaZe, they should be talking as well. They really should be. Of course, going to be searching for an opportunity nonetheless with those Deagles. See if they can get Olaf or Guardian just any closer to their opposition or get up close and personal in the face of EnVy. But then you look at the map. The map being just such an easy way to spot out where every player is standing, spot out the positions, just overall the control of how it's being played out. And you see EnVy holding quite far back, holding very passively, allowing FaZe to push on into them, allowing them to take the battles, which they may win in fairness to Rain. but at the same time, they can return fire just as swiftly.
Nico is going to be pushing up deep. What can they do with this Deagle here? Any damage done is great. Oh, lines up, manages to recover. Is able to take another head off the board. Those AWP still in play for EnVy. Deagle versus AWP. We've seen some interesting interactions there, but Rain not quite able to connect those shots. They take down 2. You could consider that a win for FaZe. Definitely hurts the economy of EnVy just a little bit, but they're not having to reinvest these AWPs, which is really where the money lies. Now for FaZe, that pause and that lengthy round to just really consider what they want to do here. What can they change up in their play? How can they support each other just a little bit better? Where's that dynamic that FaZe are lacking at the moment?
Guardian looking to see if he can test that. Going to go for the very early and aggressive pick. Smoked off completely though, as he debate him into popping out through the smoke. Spotting actually, I believe that Scream just up above on the train. Meanwhile, RPK going for that same aggression. Just moves himself up through the lower side of B. Nico, smoke in hand, is going to once more be blocked off. FaZe, I wasn't sure if they would just go for something really quick, really aggressive. Just try and barrel their way out on towards A or B or something along that sort of trail of thought. But no, they're sitting far back. They're almost in quite a default, you could argue. They're just searching through various areas of the map.
The same default they used on the pistol round, currently running. But this time they have guns in hand. Nico has been taken down. Typically it's been Olaf just pushing straight onto the A side and looking for that aggressive play, but right now holding back with Karrigan. Karrigan are going to look to try and support him, see if he can't open up that entry frag. It's already that man deficit for FaZe and time's ticking down to 50 seconds. They're going to have to start to execute. They are pushing down EnVy. Guardian tries to jump over, but he cannot quite make it. Karrigan has lost his life. Olaf gets double teamed, and now Rain will be finished off. All falls apart, and the change up in plan for FaZe just didn't work out. 11 to 14 now. Another pause to come through. Perhaps FaZe haven't quite worked out what they want to do.
You don't have Olaf to instigate the aggressive fight by jumping through the smoke. He's also not only just instigating a fight, he's taking so much attention of his opposition. Then you add to the fact that you're not allowing Nico to get into those lurking kind of spots as well. Bear in mind, let's just be very clear about this. EnVy have allowed Nico to get himself in some of the stupidest spots. Like, just being able to get deep in towards green like that with the Deagle is so problematic. I mean, credit to them, they did handle it fairly well. He got a pick, and then they double peeked him together to stop him from having that playmaking opportunity. But the fact that he got to that point in the map really is a problem for EnVy. So if FaZe can play to that, if they can use the aggression, which in fairness has been starting around us strong, but just fix the point of closing out, I guess you could argue. That's where they can find that 15th.
It won't be just now for FaZe as they back on the pistols, but maybe we will see a change up of plan, perhaps just looking to try and get that bomb plant down quickly, or maybe they just continue to use this time for discussion's sake. Ooh, Six are overwhelmed. They're pushing straight down EnVy. The Molotov to come out to try and slow them up, and Scream just spraying through the smoke, able to find 2. Will definitely poop on that parade. Is caught in a crossfire, and he is taken down, but they've handled this fairly well here, EnVy, and only losing Scream. They are going to be okay with that result. They have really brought this back. This is what I was worried about when we saw those odds come through, and it just looked so dire for EnVy as far as Betway was concerned. They hadn't really ruled out the fact that EnVy are a slow ticker, and FaZe are still discovering themselves.
That process seemingly much tougher than originally expected. 15 looking like such a big number for them to hit right now. The idea in this round, well, get cut down by Sixer, it seems, as he's gone aggressive. Guardian, waiting for the aggression towards B, does reward him with that early pick on towards Happy. Sixer will look for a trade now. He'll hold Titan passively or peek out in just a few moments. Nico is spotting for that to make the Olaf's fight just that little bit stronger. Meanwhile, of course, over on B, they play with the advantage they found. They move on up. They begin to gain traction towards that site. Sixer fires off a shot but gets nothing back. And he's got himself tucked in a corner. That smoke either saves him or kills him.
This is so important for FaZe as well, because look at the attention they've drawn from EnVy. It is going to be Scream rotating over, and now the B side is wide open, and they do not have the quick rotates to get him in there. Such a great play to pull the attention across the map, and now the bomb has been planted. FaZe with control over the B side. They've got a 2-man advantage as well, and EnVy look like they have given up hope of this round. It is going to be match point to FaZe gifted over, it seems. Perhaps Rain can steal away some of these weapons as he spots out XMS. Screams there, ready for the returner. Currently hiding his noggin. Rain lined up, ready to fire away. But it will be Scream to shut that one down. Any guns that can be taken out of the hands of EnVyUs here is a reward phase, and I think they will happily throw themselves in the line of fire for it. That all-important match point on the way for FaZe.
Olof going for the final push. Gets taken down by Sixer, who's lying in wait with that AWP. Of course, for me, what I want to ask you is, did you see where on earth RPK was looking? Because I would love to know. Because I generally didn't catch it. But the fact
I believe he was in mid-weapon change as he was trying to get quickly up into his usual spot.
Like, I don't know what's going on, but he got caught out of position, and that basically just loses the entirety of the B site, because everyone else is either far back in connector, and it just opens up the entire round for FaZe. It just gives them on a bit of a silver platter.
It's good to see that FaZe using the pause time to really just figure out exactly what they need to do, that adaptivity that Carrigan can bring to the team, the star power. Just molding them with his hands. FaZe looking to finish off this map. Team EnVyUs have put up a fight, and they will continue to look to do so here. Guardian, what can he see? Nothing quite. It's going to be another slow push, it seems, for the side of FaZe Clan. Once more split across the map. Olaf split away with Nico watching his rear. Here they go towards the B site. Smokes have been set up. A minute left in play here, and Carrigan with Guardian looking like they want to peek around the corner and have a little spot onto the B site.
Peak's looking likely to come in. One smoke, of course, coming down in towards deep connector. That's to try and bait out a bit more attention from the CTs. It is going to be the Heaven walkout play. Last round, they were able to annihilate RPK. This time, it is going to be Happy. Guardian with the AWP to secure the kill. XMS straight on the return with the kill onto Olaf Meister, but Guardian at it again with a second, doubling down on the lead that FaZe will find. Carrigan trying to cause a problem close up on this train. Scream, when he peeks, he will likely die, as it's such a hard angle for him to fight. He doesn't even check it. Carrigan snapping the neck swift and easy. EnVy almost at that tether. Sixer with the return kill with the AWP at least makes things look a little bit more simple, a little bit more easier.
That bomb is such a bait for EnVyUs. They can see it plain as day. But how do you defuse that? Nico finds Sixer, and it's just XMS left. It has been closed out. FaZe will take this round and take the game for themselves here. Flakes able to figure themselves out and take down EnVyUs, but much closer than I think they would have been hoping for. Realistically, it is good to see that the adaptive play is there for FaZe, but maybe not as clean as they're hoping. You know, this is a team that on train, this was the really hard matchup for them. A map that EnVyUs has been favoring so heavily in their recent performances here. Now heading over towards Mirage on the next one, they'd probably be smiling, especially considering the fact that EnVy don't like Mirage.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough, and especially when you're EnVy, it's going to be hard just to stomach that loss in general. I mean, you just look at some of the rounds and how they played out. I mean, Guardian already very early on doing work with the Famas, a simple triple for him. It's all just pretty crafty play from FaZe. The star power, the firepower, all building up against EnVy, which I think if you do a kind of just orange to apples comparison of these two teams, FaZe do have the stronger players, in fairness. And
really, towards the end there, two mistakes. RPK, what was he looking at? Also Happy, on the side by himself. A beautiful pop flash, blinds all three, but he hid behind the train. Was not peeking. A peek there, he would have been able to find at least one, you would think, before they react and start hailing towards him. And that could have just been the slowdown necessary to stop FaZe in their tracks and hold that train. It's a little bit of an issue, I think, for EnVyUs that they weren't quite able to find those closing remarks, really, in this game, because they certainly had some pretty good killer arguments halfway through. It just kind of fizzled away.
Credit to Happy. He was having a very, very rough start, but he did start to deliver a few punchlines towards the end, including one hell of a round, which you did witness right in front of your eyes just a moment ago. That big clutch, getting the spray down kill and finishing off the final defuse in the swing with, well, nothing better than a pistol one tap.
All right, so next map is FaZe. Not FaZe. It's probably FaZe's win as far as statistics are concerned. Okay. It's Mirage. Okay, so you know it's a dire stat for the side of EnVyUs. A stat I think that would probably be best brought to you after this break. So stick around, guys, and the next map of ESL Pro League will be coming to your screens.
League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
It's going to be absolutely electrifying. I can't wait for this.
Indeed, New York is about to get dumped.
Have you ever just stolen it from us? It is going to be unreal.
I'm telling you, this ESL, this Electronic Sports League is going to get nothing but bigger.
Be focused. Be uncompromising. Be the best and never hold out. Pick your event. Place your bet. No matter who you are or what you're here for, it's our passion that unites us. Betway, for the love of the game.
Yo, what up everybody, I'm Forrest. I'm gonna take on the Betway Aim Challenge. I'm gonna do my best and see if you can beat my time. Let's go. And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
And 1, and a 2, and a 3 plus. AK. AK var den på.
No.
That's just unlucky.
Man. And Luko.
Not a 30-second run. Tell you that much.
Oh, bad movement.
Screw you, dude.
39.
Delicious.
That's fire, sir.
Or fishes too.
Cringe.
Delicious.
Jag är fan på botten där alltså. Jag har instatt med också.
Jag tror inte man kan inte. Ja, nej, som är förbi det. Jävla dumt.
Hur går det mot någon?
Okay, last try, then I'm done. Screw it.
Oh, I like his run, I like his run. I just feel skinny. Jag vet inte att jag sitter ibland när det är matchen och spelar. Han är nej.
Det är en björn. Hon är orimlig för att ta det.
Det där går inte. Det här går inte.
38.2222.
Now I'm done.
Welcome back to the ESL Pro League, ladies and gentlemen. You just witnessed Forrest showing off his excellent CSGO mechanics in the Betway Aim Challenge. Something that I'm really bad at. I can't surf.
What time did you get?
I didn't get a time.
Oh.
I can't surf.
Well.
So instantly there I lost. It was a disaster. We do have another map coming up. EnVy. I'm trying to get one back over FaZe Clan. It's going to be Nuke. We kind of teased it might be Mirage.
It was all clickbait.
All clickbait. You've been debated. I'm sorry, but it is going to be Nuke. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how these teams perform on it. Especially, I think for FaZe, we've talked about this. Kind of the overwhelming storyline for FaZe is that they're finding their identity. Well, Nuke is a map where you certainly need to have a bit of identity if you're going to be able to get some wins.
I think this is really good for FaZe though. I mean, I just look at the way Nuke plays out as a map, the ability to control outside, use those scopes. I mean, you just look down the list of the players on FaZe and go, great, Nuke on paper should be a playground for a lot of these guys individually. Now, the reason why I say individually is because the way FaZe have been playing a whole lot has been based on individual plays, individual mechanics.
Yep.
They're not necessarily doing a lot of plays that bank on teamwork. They do have it, but that's kind of the second tier. As long as that one player, that one person in that spot can just run out and find that headshot, that's pretty much job done for them. The flash and stuff right now, that's all stuff that's in the works, it's in practice, they're trying it, but we are seeing mistakes here and there. So for FaZe, if they can just run around outside and take that control and not worry about those flashes and those smokes, they should have a field day. Of course, it gets a little bit tough on the T side where you are going to need those smokes to be able to zone off the AWP of EnVy, but overall, I think FaZe with just the individual skills should just be able to have a bit of a runaround.
And it is online, you know, and when you do see these online tournaments, you kind of do get a bit more of an individual performance, perhaps not as polished, perhaps not as set play, team orientated. So for FaZe, that definitely is something that they can work on because you do have that star power. You do have the people who can just run away with rounds and provide some excellent footage for you to then clip away and find for yourself. So I do think that like Nuke here, it's a swift change of pace from what we were expecting from FaZe in the second map. But certainly a map that if they come into this and just put EnVy to the dirt, then that's a scary proposition for the rest of Europe.
I mean, basically what we're trying to say is we don't want to use the phrase mix because mix is almost has a bit of a negative connotation to it, and that's not the case at all.
No, we're definitely not using that term at all.
Well, we are kind of hinting towards basically kind of just that loose style, that off-the-cuff stuff. We're just going to be looking at them. I don't know, where would you go with it? Well,
the thing we talked about earlier was the fact that Olaf loves that loose style. Yeah. He loves to just be able to walk around the map. And actually, on train, we saw that Nico was doing it quite a lot, actually. Really just being
so many good spots. Like, I kind of went out on a limb and was always like, EnVy, come on, you're letting him do so much.
And so if Olaf and Nico are able to kind of just be chimps in that playground, swinging from piece to piece, then that is just a scary thought for EnVyUs, because they will have to shut that down. You know, Carrigan has been the person who's been able to take things that have been set up by Nico, by Rain, by Olaf, and then make the right call from it. You know, kind of these variable lists. Okay, if A happens, then we do B, C, or D, depending on what happens, and you make that call in the split
second. He's just reacting on the fly, right?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what you need Carrigan to be in this scenario.
And that's what FaZe have to their benefit, is the fact that they have players like Rain, they have players like Olaf and Nico who can open up these holes in the defense of their opponents and really just rain terror. Now, we've kind of run this narrative, this storyline of EnVy as being a consistent entity. And I think that, you know, seeing that they performed fairly well on train, slips towards the end, perhaps the consistency wasn't quite there in the last 2 rounds, but it definitely kind of allows for FaZe to test their mettle. Mirage, if it was to have been Mirage, would have been a landslide. You know, FaZe, that's a very simple map. It's a map that everyone is very well adjusted to. It's and EnVyUs, their stat, well, we teased it, so might as well say it, is that they've won 40% of their last 5 games in 2017 alone. 40% on LAN. They have not won a single offline map. 2 of those played in 2017, and they haven't played for Mirage recently whatsoever. So
it's kind of why we were so excited for Mirage.
Yeah, it was a great play by FaZe if there was to be the map. But you know, they've got this big buffer. They're solely in the lead. You know, they've played the most games out of anyone so far in the Pro League. They're head and shoulders currently above, you know, second place. So they've got this buffer that they can kind of play with, and I love this. You know, like you mentioned, double AWP setup, the lucidity that is the fluidity, kind of the looseness. That's the word I'm looking for, of Olaf and you know, Nico and Rain, when they can really just shake their shoulders and relax.
I think kind of going back to just the kind of rankings, the fact that FaZe have got wins, the beauty of Pro League is every win counts.
Yeah, for sure.
Everything you can get means something, and it's such a drawn-out league that you do see a lot of teams towards the end or towards the start having to really flag, especially towards the end, in fact, that's actually by far probably the much stronger point, is that you see teams suddenly sprinting for wins going, right, we actually need these now to make playoffs. Yep. So if FaZe can start off strong right here, right now, get themselves just another win, and remain flawless within this season of ESL Pro League, then they are looking happy days as they make their road to Odense.
We'll have to see what they can do, especially not quite happy with some of the losses they've had, you know, up against Big and whatnot, but we will be jumping onto Nuke for this second map, and it is going to be FaZe heading it up once more on that T side. EnVyUs with a chance to defend, perhaps could give them that rock that they didn't quite have in the previous game on train. They're able to get the ball rolling. Scream pushing up aggressively here. It's going to be a bloodbath and a trade back and forth. XMS, though, wins it, and that is going to be the man advantage over to EnVyUs.
Few teething problems right now to start for FaZe. Olafmeister is going to turn it on his head as he does find the return kill, dealing with Happy, shutting him down before he can get going. Sixer swings him from above, denies the plant. XMS, another for him. Sixer with a kill on top. Olafmeister returns with a double. Somehow he's been able to find the kill and make it a 1v1. Taps away at the head of Sixer, tackles the beast. FaZe, a pistol out of nowhere, saved by a quadra kill from Olafmeister.
MVP RPK maybe. A bit of a backstab as far as damage is concerned. A pause going to come out very quickly. I do think that's fair enough. We need a breather. That was a little bit too intense, but FaZe certainly going to be very happy with their ability to take that away. Currently going to be buying up here, and I do wonder if this is a pause coming out. It's actually a technical pause coming through, so clearly someone not quite feeling right here, and so they will be looking to fix that up. But wow, Olaf, those are the kind of plays that the star power that Olaf brings to a team. So exciting to see him now on that FaZe banner.
Not only that, but that's 3 out of 4 pistols, if I recall. So that's going to be something that really, well, it stings for EnVy.
Yeah, no, that's something that EnVy going to have to definitely start to fix. Yeah, 3 out of 4 so far have gone over to FaZe.
Karrigan lurking in towards Vent. Actually pretty crucial here, as those pistols are going to look to kind of sneak themselves around a few places here and there. So Karrigan being in Vent already is actually so useful, as he can pop up, he can pop down, he can aid his team as they're all moving out on towards B, and just stop anyone from EnVy just rearing their way through him, just causing problems with these Deagles. Gets a little bit baited out by Happy, but still, there you have it. He's already finding one, doing damage. One towards a second. Nico now filling his shoes. All starts to fall into place.
Yep, RPK Scream going to be pushing towards the site, but he gets taken down by Karrigan. And it just leaves Scream with a CZ to try and push onto the side and take down 4. Really not a task that you expect him to pull off. Perhaps 1, but that's really about it. And never mind, Guardian able to find the backstab. So 2-0 over to FaZe. The momentum that EnVyUs has kind of been swarming with when they've been looking their best, it's been fire momentum. That's going to be shut down early by FaZe, and I think that mentality perhaps something to talk about, because, you know, FaZe, they have certainly looked very good when they've been storming, but when they started to slip and slide, those pauses have been necessary to really get them back into the running for this. And FaZe, they need to continue to hold that mentality for themselves, or at least regain it. Karrigan spraying through, perhaps would have heard the shots connecting. It's currently just Rain cleaning up with his UMP, really just getting banked. RPK won't be able to find that cheeky, and it's just Scream left down the vent, and they know he's there. Easy peasy, 3-0, let the fun begin.
Remind you of another map, because this was exactly like the last phase. They start off strong with a pistol, they connect the next 2, now it's all about that buy. EnVy already going to be getting up the rifles, of course. Have a choice in AWP on towards Sixer. He's going to be contemplating it yet again. Last time he went for a rifle, but this time CT side, AWP, the much better call. But where's he going to play it towards? Are we looking towards that sort of outside aggression? Is going to be up towards Catwalk and such? Kind of what's the decision going to be?
Does look like he's going to be holding up towards Catwalk here. FaZe currently playing with time as they work out exactly what they want to do. Olaf, perhaps to punch a hole towards the A site. There's just Nico looking up towards heaven. You won't see Sixer just yet.
FaZe basically looking to try and get a feel for how EnVy are playing. They've sent out a few different probes here and there. Nico with the jump spot, just checking for any sort of quick aggressive peeks from that AWP, but they've got nothing back, no response. So with that said, they now more than likely know this, either someone up watching it from heaven, or just playing close with the rifles. That play means that they're just going to be going for a quick, swift ramp push, walking right into the arms of XMS, who's not blind at all, may it be noted. As he gets himself a kill, then scarpers to the hills.
This does definitely hurt FaZe's aggression here. And look at Happy lurking outside as well. XMS up close will find 1-2, looking for a third, and he gets it! XMS! 4 frags, and he really just shuts down FaZe's attempt there. They were not able to do anything, and once more, it's that flash just not quite connecting that really opens things up for XMS to play with.
Doing just so much in those past rounds. Really an integral part of the way EnVy have been able to wake up. Holding tightly now on towards Sixer once again, looking to see if he's going to take the peak this time around. Nico, of course, already going for the straight smoke. Denying anything he can. Sixer, though, same spot, and because no one knows he's up there, really, it's going to be something that you can't really utilize because of the wall of smokes, but at the same time, if they wrap towards the left, I guess he could have got something, but at the end of the day, being zoned off by FaZe isn't exactly ideal. Molly stopping a FaZe from taking the adventure they were hoping for, though, makes things a little bit more problematic. Karrigan walking through, quickly dealt with by RPK.
He's going to be Happy breaking his way onto the B site, ready if FaZe were to try and make their way in. Rain just probing through. It's Scream, though, holding off Olaf Meister. And once more, FaZe have been denied entry anywhere. Rain able to take down Happy, though. Just finds him in rotation. RBK lurking in between 2, but he doesn't quite know it. Very risky for him to even peek and look for the frag. And there's going to be Guardian popping around the corner, just out of sight. Suddenly, advantage over to FaZe here, and where are they going to take the bomb is the question. They're rotating out. Looks like they're going towards the A site instead. Going to try and out-rotate EnVy.
Ah, Sixer, he had a chance with the EWP, but misses it both with the pistol and that aforementioned weapon, meaning things just got dark. Now that bomb can get around towards a site. Sure, they could try and stop it. XMS actually got himself here within just the nick of time. Ooh. But Guardian wins that battle too. Envious, two chances messed up. Sixer now going for the no-scope, looking complete towards the wrong place. Sure, catches him off as he drops around from behind. But this is a 1v2. Has to go for the plant, 10 seconds, but they get that in just within the space, denying Sixer from being able to get the jump on them. Now he's got to make a play, but he has no idea where to look. No idea where to be scared of. He's backed into a corner. He does have a smoke and a flash, does have a kit.
He's likely just to save this AWP here, Flakes. If it was on the A site, then perhaps the hero play was made, but the fact that they rotated back down towards B just made it impossible for Sixer to deal with. Will they prod towards the CT site here to try and steal it? Looks like they are going to. Flashbang goes out. He misses the shot. Sixer falls back. He's going to try and smoke himself off and hold on to this AWP as long as possible, but time's a ticking. Finds one. Can he get the second? Jumping through the smoke. It looks like he's just bought himself the time. Rain can't spray it. A very big win, you could say, for EnVy to hold that AWP in their inventory. No, they don't really have the money to buy in and force up here. They are going to be saving once more, but that AWP holding the outside channel can definitely put that cog in the works for FaZe.
You'd be surprised what a single AWP can do. I mean, we did see it in the last map, for example, when AWP got itself 2 kills before being taken down. And it does create an opportunity for these pistols, these deagles, to have a shot around. Nothing is impossible in Counter-Strike. I've seen madder things happen. Sixer opting for a much more aggressive route of play here, instead just looking right down in towards FaZe. But they're not giving him anything. He can hold it all he wants. Olafmeister may become a credible target. But the shot is missed, and that is where the cookie will crumble. FaZe, 5 rifles, a complete mismatch in firepower on paper. And they're already gaining a fair chunk of map control, moving out towards outside. Olafmeister just going to be lurking around these doorways. Sixer still looking for just a little bit more. But he hasn't been given an inch.
I do like this slow play from FaZe. EnVy must be feeling it. That AWP pushed up so close to the action, but it hasn't seen it. FaZe are really just baiting EnVy into misstepping. There's going to be timer ticking though. There's 50 seconds left to execute here. Everyone's starting to rotate, and Sixer decides to go downstairs. That's a trade. Trade that EnVy will like, coming back up on the ladder. Where will FaZe decide to go? It looks like they're trying to get themselves in towards this A site. Sixer watching one angle. Doesn't quite spot the bomb being picked up there. And they are now making their way down to B. 25 seconds. Happy's going to be up close and personal. If he opens that door and finds the frag as the bomb's being planted, that could put a spanner into the works. Sixer's here as well. FaZe, they need to get this bomb planted, and there it is. That is going to be Guardian trading out, but the bomb still has not been planted. Oh, Guardian keeps it alive, and that's the AWP taken out of play. That would have been the miracle there if Sixer was able to shut it down as he stood, but it was not to be. FaZe 5.
Slicing through the B site like a warm knife through butter. FaZe, especially Guardian to be honest, make mincemeat of their opposition all in all. EnVy, now with the opportunity of course to at least invest. You have to give credit to EnVy, they did do a fair bit with those pistols, but at the end of the day, these are the rounds that count. Into round 7. Got yourself 5 rifles, a famous on XMS, but 5 rifles nonetheless. Utility a bit sparse across Scream, Sixer and RPK, but for the most part, you have enough to work with. Guardian already going for a very aggressive peek though. Doesn't get anything off of it, but the information, just the ability to show that he's going aggressive is a big win. Rain gets the frag anyway, so it's all looking positive for the FaZe clan lineup.
Sixer is pushed up close here. Will he be spotted or anticipated? Such a tight angle to really be able to be effective. So many places he can be peeked from. FaZe were to make their way down. Flashbangs avoided. If he's able to find one just to trade, that could be good for the side of EnVy. But they need to find their roots back into this matchup here, Flakes. They can't afford to go too long. Yes, it's been a slow burner for EnVy so far in this series, but it's not really what you want to rely on. Oh, XMS up close. Oh, he's found 2! Nico! Where was your gun? That is just not good for FaZe. Another mistake, going to just give it right back over to EnVy. Now they're up against the wall, 45 seconds, and Sixter still lurking in that position. Will not be checked for sure. Here comes Olaf. XMS once more. is just the hero that his team needs. He's going to find another. Can he get the 5th? Can he get the ace? That's the question. It's XMS and a FAMAS. It's Rain running away with a bomb in hand. It will be Sixer to shut down FaZe. But man, XMS once more. Look at that score. 13-0 and 5. The rest of his team just sitting on scraps. XMS is here to play on Nuke.
He may well be a man with his backpack on right now for his team, but at the end of the day, EnVy are still stuck on just 2 rounds in comparison to FaZe's 5. So for EnVy, they do have to wake up. XMS can be doing as much as he wants. He can be doing wonders for his team. But they got to step up and play around that. Otherwise, at the end of the day, they're still going to be stuck on 2. They're still going to be getting 1 round here and there, but FaZe will eventually get themselves a 10-5 or something like that if the current trend continues to unfold. So EnVy do still have to step up.
How many aces can you hold is the question.
It's a big ask, having him get that many kills. I mean, a quadra kill on a buy round in itself. It's not something that's going to repeat itself.
The odds definitely stacked up against EnVyUs despite a stellar performance from XMS. Could just be enough to inspire the troops here, Flakes. Certainly, EnVyUs fans will be hoping for it. Get behind XMS. He will lead you to the victory. 2-5. A reset potential that EnVyUs just cannot face right now. FaZe certainly know that if they're able to win this next round, that puts them in a solid place for the rest of the half here. Gonna be that Molotov going over towards Happy. Is able to avoid the damage though. FaZe now poking around the outside without smokes. Something a little bit different here. At least not that big smoke screen. XMS once more. He spotted Carrigan. Looking for more. Guardian, though, able to take him down. Perhaps not as patient as he needed to be. Sixer on the other side of the smoke, and Olaf hasn't spotted him yet. Sixer, he's got to spot Olaf with no gun. Oh, dear. FaZe. You need to bring guns to these fights. You cannot bring your fists. And once more, it's gone wrong for FaZe. 4-2, 24 seconds.
They could save this, though. They've got the crushing play from Nico. Coming in from outside as well as his teammate joining him up above. He does get the first kill.
Look at the bomb, though. It's on the other side of the map.
That's where it crumbles, really. I mean, everything is there for them to be able to start connecting these shots. But, as you said, raise a valid point within time, they're playing these rounds so far down the clock. They're giving themselves not many out potentials when things do go wrong, which they have been now, twice in a row. Bear in mind as well, for EnVy, twice in a row they've used positions that are kind of up in the air, kind of hidden away. You look at Shroud, for example, on Cash. Look at the barrels over on towards Ramp.
It's
close catwalk up towards Marshmallow.
Exactly. It's EnVyUs almost showing their cards in a matchup. FaZe, they have all the building blocks available to them. With this roster to be such a formidable team to fear, EnVyUs right now have been gifted a sledgehammer in the form of XMS. Knock down those building blocks, put doubt into the FaZe roster early, perhaps just solidify yourself. Going to be Rain pushing forth once more. Double AK in play for FaZe, but it's just the pistols after that. Sixer up in heaven looking to spray down. There's 3 ready to try and trade. Carrigan finds 1 before Rain loses his life to Happy. And Sixer going to be spotted out by Carrigan. Ooh, that's an M4 1 over. Makes things a little bit more difficult. Such
a fruitful play from Carrigan to get himself that far developed towards outside, tucked in, gets 1 kill, but then the lack of awareness from EnVy to be able to respond to that allows him for the second as well. That's a mistake from EnVy to give him that. Now with that said, more weapons to be picked on up. Happy does secure a return kill on towards Guardian, but you can't help but feel like FaZe have been gifted this 3v3.
Oh,
Nico
no.
just another. It starts to spiral out of control from here.
And with XMS already dead, that's just such an issue for EnVyUs, considering the fact that the rest of the team just aren't fragging yet. They haven't woken up as far as this map is concerned. 40 seconds left. FaZe need to make sure that they don't burn the clock too far. RPK going to be holding very close onto the A site as Olaf rounds on through. And that's a quick shot for Olaf. Only Scream tucking himself away, but Carrigan going to be spotted, and now his position is revealed. Trying to find Olaf. 18 seconds left. Scream will be taken down, and FaZe going to find a return.
The most unfortunate thing about that round for me is that Scream, I'm pretty sure he almost tapped on Olaf's head just through the wall of heart, but the shots just don't quite go where he needed them to be. Taken down by Olaf Moister in that final 1v1, looking through the window. Exactly where Olaf wanted him to be. Does give FaZe their 6th.
Crucial plays. Both Olaf and Carrigan alike able to open that up with XMS out of the picture early in an M4 in Carrigan's hands. Like you mentioned, just his ability. Perhaps EnVyUs questions about why that wasn't communicated.
I mean, he just puts himself in good situations. I mean, if you're Karrigan right now, you don't necessarily scream about his ability to hit shots and have firepower. You scream about the fact that he gets himself in those positions to be able to make those plays.
Yeah.
It's the charisma, it's the brains, more than the raw aim. Talking of raw aim, RPK, a crafty one on towards Rain.
Yeah, looking for another, but Olaf won't allow it. 4-3. Happy going to be all by himself, has Scream, the man with the M4, holding ramp. Can Sixer push forward? May not be expected in this position. Oh, almost finds Guardian's head, but not quite. Scream though, that's that M4 we talked about, and it's crucial because of the damage it can do. Finds one, tags Guardian. FaZe are once more really letting this clock tick. There's another weapon in play, a rifle. Envious could just save at this point, but seems like they're going to look for the hero play. There's no defuse kits, they don't have utility, that's the last of it. That flashbang that puts Scream onto the site. He's been spotted though through the crack of those silos, and that is him being fallen. FaZe will find another. I think perhaps Envious could have invested those rifles into the next round. You look at their economy, it's not like they can have a buy, but...
I think if you want to, you can argue at both sides, right? You can argue that they can go for it. I mean, they made the right play in terms of actually approaching the retake, bunching up together. I mean, it was pretty transparent from FaZe's perspective that they knew someone would come from ramps. They were definitely aware because they knew that Happy had to rush for the rifle. So bunching up exactly what they needed to do. They had the right flash as well. Just the shots didn't quite work out for them in terms of dismantling that player top or heart. I mean, I get the perspective of saving, but no matter which way you look at it, EnVy already had that mindset of we just need rounds. Now, 2v3 is a clutchable situation.
Let's see what they can do here. This is definitely not as dire as Train. Oh, XMS! Doesn't even feel the fire! He is on a hot plate for sure, but that might be taking it a little bit too literal. 8-3. That was a very quick one.
FaZe down and dirty, dealing with the pistols exactly how they should be. Just getting it done and dusted so they can continue to move on forward the plow. They try to murder EnVy with every day of the week.
Yeah, this is it. Round 12. Rifles once more. Sixer with the AWP. Back to basics. FaZe going to be grouping up towards the outside here, but look at the amount of pressure that Envious had put as well towards it. This is where XMS won rounds for Envious just by taking over these setups that FaZe was so slow to executing. The smokes do go down and Sixer is pushed back. But it doesn't look like FaZe are really going to be trying to challenge further for the outside control. More just pushing, funneling Envious to the positions they want to fight them.
FaZe right now, their mindset is, we're going to set up for our mollies. We're going to set up for our kind of utility-based execute. Those mollies are going to go raining down on towards A and be actually very difficult for EnVy to deal with. Sure, they throw their smoke and flash in response to try and deny that early uptake, but I mean, all things considered, FaZe, they're basically out on the site. It's all about that close-knit fight. Karrigan takes it down with a very early-on headshot, then looking for a second Sixer. You're getting scalped right now. You got to fall back. You got to wait for your teammate, which sure, you do, but you've already lost two. Where's your way back in? It's just not quite there. You have to back off. You have to play nice and slow. They haven't gone for the plant just yet, which is something that you have to your side. But notice how FaZe are still looking for opportunities, just not quite where you expect it.
Oh, Scream, Nico have faced off. As
hey, buddy.
What a sight you want to see. Sixer looking to spray down. AWP finds one, but it's not enough against the three, and that will be another point on the board for FaZe there. I love that silence before the storm. That FaZe kind of set up there, very theatrical.
It's such a joy to watch them just pause things for a second and go, actually, you know what, instead of just taking the direct rule where we could actually lose this and we could start to give you a pretty big advantage, they go, you know what, we'll hold you here, we'll bait you, you can just hang there, it's all good, you can feel like you're in control because Nico's on his way.
And that's the thing that EnVy have been doing. Once they recognize that the side is going to be taken, they kind of just sit tight and wait. That's going to be Olaf shutting down that aggression. A pistol round that should very much likely go in the way of FaZe. And that's the adaptation from FaZe, is that they realize that EnVy frees up, ready for that bomb to be planted. They're not looking to make any more plays, and that allows FaZe the time to really just rotate, get themselves set up. It's such great shot calling from Karrigan and the rest of the team as well, just finding those positions. Like you mentioned, Nico has just been allowed to rotate silly. Something EnVy need to shut down here. The 14th point here, round here, 10-3. A round that EnVy desperately need to take home here. But it seems like a repeat story more than anything for EnVy's.
Thing is, you look at this round, you go, it's so important, not just because of anything else, but you look ahead to the future, the pistol. If FaZe can go 4 for 4 with these pistols in tonight's ESL Pro League, then you got a serious problem if you're EnVy, because you're looking at what potentially could well be just game, set, finish before EnVy even get to 4.
Yeah, it's not like EnVy have 6 points available to them at the end of the half. It's only a max of 5. They're able to take this one away. Definitely lessens the chances, the odds going into the second half here. FaZe once more, silently setting up, quietly waiting, lurking, smokes out. Once more, setting up. It's going to be that screen to stop any pushes coming out so they can fall back towards the A site here and challenge perhaps towards ramp or A.
RPK. Be a hero or die trying. That is literally the play he could make right now. He could walk on through and have a chance at a double, maybe even a triple, or he can wait and listen for all the information. But then run the risk of the site being overwhelmed and him being backstabbed. The smoke comes in, the aggression enters the fold. No. RPK goes through, finds one, a dip dive for a second, looking unlikely, but Screamers goes back. There you go, the drop comes in, RPK Scream doing wonders, doing it all for EnVy. Guardian trying to trade things back, but Happy has got his number. A quick kill from Anorp to shut him down. It will be EnVy. Getting himself there, looking unlikely.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Well, no, EnVy's will not allow it. Can't pull the same trick twice as EnVy's. They will be able to hold their straws 4 to 10. They keep the guns in the economy. A double AWP setup for Sixer and Happy. Heading into the last round of this half. A point necessary for EnVy's. As you mentioned, the pistols have been rolling the way of FaZe so consistently tonight, and they cannot afford to lose another on a scoreline like this. Sixer spotted out, rotates away. It's a quick play from the outside, and Rain instantly going downstairs. Through the smoke though, 6 cents Happy! It's going to be EnVy's finding frags all across the map. The bomb has been stopped where it stands, and the information is swiftly in the hands of EnVy's. Olaf and Guardian, the new additions to FaZe. They're going to have to show their mettle right here. They want to bring back any hope of FaZe taking home this 15th round. Olaf is rotating, really got that backstab down, but Guardian is so isolated. Finds one. They are all on top of him. Another minute left on the clock. Plenty of time for Olaf to really get in position. I think he spotted, and he did. Maybe they do it. Maybe they do it indeed. Olaf finds another now, looking to go towards XMS. Can you believe this? FaZe from the ashes. That's where the Phoenix rises. It's a 2 versus 2 Flakes.
Breathing fire down their opposition. They played the clock. They knew they had over a minute to work with, so they were nice and slow. They allowed Olaf to get himself in a position to find himself too. He picked up a head that no one saw coming. Nobody even noticed it existed, but he found the gap. He made the play, and it pits them in this 2v2. The bomb has gone down. It is ticking. XMS trying to get himself in a good and sound position. But Olaf looking ready to hold off towards Happy. Meanwhile, Guardian, his attention is focused on towards XMS. Waiting. Shots come in. Olaf not doing his job. Happy takes him down, but Guardian, well, it's going to be the Orb Deagle switch. Makes this a little bit more entertaining. Peeks around the corner, holds for it, gets himself one. Happy. Last man standing, a frag grenade to toy with Molly as well. Potentially if he can pick it or not, the nade's so low.
He's going for the defuse, he's going to push forward. Guardian needs to peek now, 2 seconds, he stops the defuse. Oh, that's it! Guardians won the round for FaZe! And they're going to exit the half, 11 to 4. What an investment! FaZe picks up Olaf and Guardian, and they will take home that round. 11 to 4, we're throwing it to a break, but you do not want to miss what happens next, as FaZe is going to be jumping to the T side. Well, how about that? Guardian and Olaf Meister just proving to the world exactly what they bring to FaZe Clan there. A round that looks so hopelessly lost for FaZe Clan. A 2 versus 5, but Flakes, they brought it right round. Very clean stuff from those men, really just showing the star power that they bring to the team. And if you're a FaZe Clan, I think you are putting banners across every wall right now. This is a team to watch.
This is one to keep your eyes peeled for. This is 2017 Counter-Strike, folks. This is the ESL Pro League. FaZe versus EnVy. This second half kicking off right here on your screens. It is 11-4 after one hell of a play. Let's see if FaZe can now take it 4-4 with these pistols.
Very interesting to see that Carrigan has invested literally nothing into this round.
He's gone for Kevlar.
The Kevlar. Okay, he's purchased it right towards the end. I missed it. And now, can FaZe make it 4-4? Okay, Rain. 1-2. Looking for the third. Can't quite clean it up, but RPK is going to peek once more. 4 HP. Okay, Fade. That was some slick stuff from Rain. He's already done his job as far as holding that angle is concerned. Now he can allow for Nico to give it a shot. Trades the life. Olaf able to clean that up. These pistols have been so clean for FaZe, and it's just not a proposition that EnVy can deal with. This is going to look like 12-4, and very quickly goes towards that match point.
Happy. What are you going to do? You're holding in that corner. You're waiting for something, quite clearly. But when are you going to bite the bullet and just go for it? You've got Sixset playing around. Peeking. Spots out Carrigan. Doesn't quite get to hit a few shots. Not the ones he needed anyway. Just hitting the shoulder somewhat. Happy. Still frozen in motion. Praying there is no issue. They really are praying right now as he is stuck in a corner, refusing to bench a muscle. Sixer looking towards upper. Carrigan now dipping towards the left side of that wall. Just going to bait Sixer out, try and force a fight that's more favorable.
Sixer needs to win this duel. It's the only way he opens up into the round and allows EnVy to regain the bomb, but he's not able to. 12-4. That is now going to be a very difficult proposition for EnVy to face here. It looks like perhaps a technical pause coming out for EnVy as they lose a member from the server. But 12-4, likely to become 14-4 before any real competition is brought to Nuke. Yes, EnVy were able to, backs against the wall, start to bring those rounds back on train, but they have not really allowed any time for that ramp up that so historically they need.
Not only the ramp up, but the mentality of the team right now after that round. That's got to tug on a few heartstrings. The emotions are really going to be coming out to play right now. I mean, I'm going to answer the question that everyone's going to be thinking right now is, you know, can there be a rollback? Can we do the pistol again? Well, the likelihood is that wasn't noticed until a good way into the round when damage was done.
Yes.
Which means a rollback could well be off the table.
Yeah, it does seem like it's perhaps Happy having a bit of issues. Maybe that was why he was sitting tight, but we will just have to deal with it. This is online play, of course. Flakes does just everyday life for these guys in the ESL Pro League. Let's talk about that last round, I think, because it was such a spectacle of show from Guardian and Olaf. Olaf's ability to play that slow was what amazed me the most. In those rounds when you have your back up against the wall, when Guardian is surrounded by 3 men and he knows that they are closing in on him, Olaf is just doing his own thing on the other side of the map and relieving pressure bit by bit.
He's like, don't worry, guys, I got this. Like, and I know you're fighting a pretty hard battle on your own right now, but trust me, it'll all be worth it in the end. And I think that implies that his teammates have got faith in him, which actually is very, very important when it comes down to the early days of a new team, especially when you're being decreed the super team of 2017. So with that all said, the fact that it's all there, and you can very clearly see it in play, it does make the future look ever so bright.
On the other flip side of that is the mentality game that you kind of mentioned there, Flakes, for EnVy. That is a round that you so desperately needed heading out of the half that was stolen away from you.
Thing is, Happy was in a good position as well. I mean, I don't know whether... It's so hard to say whether he was supposed to be there or whatever it may be, because honestly, we don't know when he timed out. We don't know whether it was just a complete freeze-up straight away or what the issue even was. But the fact is, towards the end, if he was stuck there, he's happy days. He's on silo, can catch a follow as he's dropping. That makes it kind of 2 for 2 and starts to make it a very workable round. But at the end of the day, playing 4v5 sucks.
Yeah, it really does. And so... some time will be given over to EnVy to try and sort out those connectivity issues. EnVy, you know, this is a round that, well, the next 2 rounds, really. If they find
It's all about the buy. The second round, you can certainly run through in terms of the force up and if they can get it together. But the likelihood is, just judging by the historics of how EnVy have played this series, they're going to get close. They're going to get a few crafty shots. But unless someone steps up huge, then we are going to see it go the FaZe way, which is why I hit straight towards the buy. If the buy falls short, they have one chance. If they mess it up, if a mistake comes in, if FaZe just outplay them with just that raw skill, then this game is done. This series is over, and we're on to our second of the night.
Well, Happy is experiencing those issues, so we're going to give him some time to sort it out, which means we are going to throw to a quick break, but when we do return, we'll have to see if EnVyUs can pull it out of darkness. We'll be right back.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
This is your chance to actually make it into the Pro League, be a professional Counter-Strike player.
That's the thing that Mountain Dew League provides.
Penguin, you know what? If anybody has a shot at 2-0, it's Penguin. Beautiful Counter-Strike. You usually only see that into the professional level of things.
We are one of the youngest team in top 20. Many teams can underestimate us and we can surprise them with our tactics, show our Polish power.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
It's going to be absolutely electrifying. I can't wait for this.
Indeed, New York is about to get dominant.
And oh my God, Stacks, have you ever just stolen in front of me? It is going to be unreal.
I'm telling you, this ESL, this Electronic Sports League, is going to get nothing but bigger.
Be focused. Be uncompromising. Be the best and never hold out. Pick your event. Place your bet. No matter who you are or what you're here for, it's our passion that unites us. Betway, for the love of the game.
With us with that little technical break. It does turn out Happy is not so happy. He will be leaving us here. EnVy is going to be subbing in their coach, Malak, I believe, to finish off this game. So not really great stuff for EnVyUs, but it is the result, unfortunately, with the internet connection issues being EnVyUs's thing to solve. That is just the way things go.
Yeah, Malak isn't too bad at the end of the day either. He's a pretty good fit. He knows everything they're going to be doing, and also he's a player with rich experience. Back in the day of Source, of course, where he really showed his true colours.
EnVyUs, realistically, in this game, haven't been performing. XMS has, but the rest of the roster not quite hitting those numbers, so why not see what Malak can bring to it. Harrigan holding up close, does look just like a bloodbath. Guardian looking to put the last couple of bullets into the side of EnVyUs. Oh, it's Sixer with the bomb. Just walking outside. Met by Nico's UMP. So that is going to be that round very swiftly finished. EnVyUs now with one more to go before they get those guns into their hands. That all-important round 4 to be the mark, I think, for EnVyUs to try and get themselves back into this game.
Yes, he got one shot, right? That's what we talked about, and that's what it will be. I'm excited just to see what Malak can do. I'm not gonna lie, like that for me is actually quite an interesting point because he's been able to watch the game from a third perspective. And you can actually pick up a whole lot usually with that. Of course, this one is looking like a bit of a bloodbath. EnVyUs being led on a bit of a journey that is then lambs to the slaughter. RPK at least stepping up to the plate, just fighting back against the resistance, but I'm struggling somewhat as eventually it will be the SMGs that rain on down, create a bit of havoc, make a bit of money. as FaZe splash around as they move to 14.
You raise a good point there, Flakes. You know, yes, Malak has been spectating. He's kind of seen the issue that EnVy has been facing this game, and perhaps he can provide that fresh perspective coming into the game here. This is where it all hinges on EnVy. What can they bring to the table in this all-important round? Losing here is essentially just match point given over to FaZe Clan. So it has to be a big performance for the side of EnVy, and it can't be a performance to really be lacking.
Show me some of that TT Dragons Malik. That's what I want to see right now. I thought we'd escaped Insomnia, but apparently we could be back to I-45 as he tries to kick it off here. RPK, initial engagement towards outside, does win and out with one. Looking to see if he can work a little bit more. Guardian trying to see if he can sneak on around. RPK doing wonders right now as he creates space for a second entry. Karrigan waking up for just another return for the CT side. However, as Guardian, Karrigan, 6 are all combining. Pretty bit of a back and forth affair. Malik finds one of his own. Makes it a 2 versus 1 with a bomb going down.
Yeah, really important stuff for EnVy here. Only Guardian left alive, but he's done it before in a 1 versus 2, and maybe he'll do it again. AWP in hand, coming up that ladder. 6 are going to be up on the catwalk. Out of sight for now for Guardian, and look up close, there he is. Malak taken down swiftly by Guardian. All on 6er. Spotted out, I believe, by Guardian. He is looking for the shot, and he will line it up. Very smooth stuff for Guardian, and that could just be the nail in the coffin right there. It was a noble attempt, the bomb planted, EnVy perhaps further than expected, but it is going to be round 5 and match point for FaZe Clan, ready to be taken.
Guardian just reading the situation like an absolute pro. Triple kill for him, doing wonders with the AWP in this game, bear in mind as well. 23-9 to be exact on his stat line. EnVy, they've got Happy back, he's just in coach. Question is he actually in coach there to help them, or is he coming back in? We're seeing a swap. But no, it doesn't look like it's going to be coming through. My dream had been crushed.
Yep, Happy going to be just trying his hands at coaching. AK's forced up here for EnVy. That bomb plant, really that last lifeline to start pushing forth and attempt to get some rounds back on the table. But it is such a long road to 15 for the overtime. EnVy, almost an impossible task. Going to be entering onto the A side. Nico taken down. Olaf able to trade one back, and it's XMS up close looking to try and find the frags. They've taken over A, but the bomb is not in their hands. In fact, it's in Karrigan's, and he's going to be looking to hold it away from 6er. Oh, he gets the bomb back. Maybe a bit of an issue there, the fact that they weren't able to stop that.
But Guardian up from above. Karrigan can overextend towards outside, but actually does wonders with it because he finds the kill, makes it 2 for 2. Guardian can set himself up with a flash. 6er, sure he can be patient, but it's all down to timing. But no, pulls out a flash. Karrigan, oh no, Guardian now Tech 9 to do it all, trying to channel in Olaf, you could say, back to the days of the history where Tech 9 was just so beautiful, but not today, XMS will say, as he gets himself a lovely 1-tap.
And it looks like Happy may just be rejoining us as well as he rejoins the server, looking to come back in place.
Oh, is he going to reconnect us?
We got the pause, so you assume that he is going to. Hey, there he is.
There we go.
So, issue with that, of course, is his connection good enough? I think for EnVy to push it back forth. FaZe, this is their last buy before their economy is broken. Very important round, of course. EnVy, every round from this point onwards is important.
Yeah, I don't think we need to state the obvious on just how many EnVy actually need to get back-to-back flawless without a single mistake. I mean, I can run around and say the same thing, just different words all the time. What it comes down to is, EnVy, you can't screw this up. You got to play perfection. AWP 4 rifles, you've got all the tools. You're hot and aggressive.
Pushed on up, but not quite able to find the frag onto 6er. Does a lot of damage. Nico spraying through the smoke, does a bit more. They've definitely hurt EnVy, who are looking to push straight down towards the B side here. Might be just enough. Nico going to be holding up close in the vents here. Does decide to change his position. Instead, going to be holding far back. Molotov goes down. Leaves Nico stuck up here. Scream able to take down Karrigan. It's not going well for FaZe as EnVy have taken over the map. Now, with lots of time, they can just shuffle back out of Secret and make their way back to A site. Really just challenge all the angles as Olaf goes down.
Yeah, overwhelming each and every member of FaZe right now, not allowing themselves any sort of information. The minute FaZe think they know something, EnVy prove that they are 1 or even 2 steps ahead of their opponents. Because now it's just Nico and Guardian, both of them trying to scarp around, see if they can get themselves a frag in the round, maybe a bit of an impact. But ultimately, FaZe, almost a bit of fish out of water in this one. They're going to be left back, trying to find those closing kills, but that's about all they can achieve.
Guardian up close finds 1, that's the 2nd of his reign, a 3rd for him, but it is just showmanship, and he does get taken down by Happy. Nico now.
You know Nico can win this, right?
He doesn't have a kit.
That's the only problem, but... Oh, if he hit that shot, then it could have been real. But, as you say, now lack a kit. That's going to be where it all falls apart. But he could have. He generally could have.
Very risky move by Happy, I guess, to move out aggressively. Will not be punished. EnVy 6 now. Still that perfection required. And when little mistakes like that, perhaps, you could argue, just shine through.
The lesson there is don't let an advantage get to you.
Right.
That's what it's going to be for EnVy. Great, you were in a pretty good lead, but your economy is everything for a start. If there's one round where you can't afford to get something perfect out of it, even when you win, if you lose a whole lot, it gets rough.
Nico going to be the only man with a gun and AWP, going to be pushing aggressively, and RPK is able to shut him down. That should just be the result of the rest of the round, really, for EnVy to take it and put it 7. Unless something strange was to happen. Rain spotting out Happy with that jump, but can't quite connect his shots. Now his position revealed. Olof has got the AWP back. Stranger things have happened.
Always said that about 5 times today now. Seems to be the AWP and the pistols. Bit of a recurring spot. He is going to be nice and slow, just needle his way around the smokes. Happy. Finding one of his own on towards Rain, at least able to do some work there. As EnVy begin to sink their feet into this round and stand nice and proud, really, up against their opposition. As that's what it needs as well. You don't just need courage, you don't just need wit, you need a bit of proudness, a bit of confidence about you.
Does seem like this break for EnVy has been crucial for just giving them the confidence and the structure to come back into Nuke here and really understand how they're going to go about it. Carrigan, 28 seconds, drops the bomb planter, but it's not going to be enough to win the round there for FaZe. EnVy getting slightly closer. Now it is going to be the M4s purchased up for FaZe. This is where FaZe historically would be looking to pause if they were to lose this round so that they can regain their composure and understand exactly what EnVy is throwing at them. I do wonder how EnVy continue to attack here because they can't find themselves falling into the same routine here. It has to be initiative shown every time or else FaZe will cotton on. Carrigan will figure it out. As soon as that happens, that's your hopes and dreams cut.
Nothing can ever be simple, is what they say. You always have to put your heart and soul into each and every moment. That's where you get what you want to achieve. That's where dreams are made. And that's where dreams come true. EnVy, on their way back. Nico, going to be holding the smoke, making sure they can't plow through door. Olofmeister, same story, both of them in crossfire together, playing in tandem. One flash, the other should be able to deal with it. And that's exactly what comes through. Nico full blind. Olaf finds one. Nico now feeling the situation as he gets one of his own. 6 over the quick trade, but Olaf doing wonders from the back of sight. But he's handled RPK, tackles him to the ground with an aggressive play with the AK-47. And that doesn't have Guardian invent, however. Catches off Happy and leaves RPK with it all to do. A 1 versus 3. Carrigan slipping in from the side.
All just collapsed there for EnVy at the end, and that will be FaZe taking a swift 2-0 over the Frenchies there. Is going to be clean for them, and FaZe up once more. The victory continues. The hype is real here, Flakes, for the squad, as Olaf and Guardian come through to show that FaZe are going to be a squad to reckon with. Some tough times for EnVy for sure. Happy, of course, going to be fairly disappointed with circumstances, but that is the case. That is online play for you, and nothing you can do about it. Some highlights here for sure to see, especially that 2 versus 5. XMS, huge performances, but just wasn't enough really to bridge the gap for his team. His teammates just leaving something to be wanted, I think, for EnVy.
I think Carrigan just kind of stepped it up towards the first part as well. Then the rest of his team, they kind of rallied behind it. They did what XMS and his team couldn't. And that for FaZe really just kind of built up on that star power argument, and it all just kind of ran away from EnVy, really. I mean, you saw such a disastrous result here. Guardian being able to get himself just inside of this room, then with Happy just being so low, just like, you know, I'm just going to stick for the bomb. But then let's go, goes for the shot, and that's where the Deagle can spam away. So many tough rounds, so many ridiculously hard moments, but FaZe, they were able to edge it out every time.
Incredible stuff, really, from FaZe. They're going to just continue their dominance here in the ESL Pro League. once more pushing the boundaries of where they can take it. Another 6 points for them, pushes them right on up, pops them up to 18 points on the standings, and that's a really comfortable place for FaZe to be after a week of play. Still one more day to go, of course, for the first week, but man, what a performance, what an opener FaZe has provided us so far. Some ups, some downs for sure, but a lot of hope, I think, could be said around this Dream team, and for them, it's perhaps just only up from there as they figure themselves out. Carrigan controls them even further.
We look at it from an external perspective as the super team, but internally they look at it as, you know what, we're a bunch of just players that know what we want to do, and we are going to make this work. They're going to be practicing hard. Carrigan is going to be studying down, making sure that they are exactly where he needs them to be, but also managing them at a fine distance so that they can pop off. They can surprise even him. They can surprise the best as deliver those wonderful moments that we love to see.
Well, that will be envious in FaZe. Up next, we do have Na'Vi and Heroic coming up here for the ESL Pro League. So stick around with us. We'll throw it to a short break, and when we do return, it is going to be that second matchup of today.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.